Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. Well, the purple-haired guy was right. I'll tell you all about that in a little bit. We do have the play-along this evening. If you'd like to put a request in the comments today, I'll see if we can, or if I can do that. If it fits me and if it's something I can learn by this evening, I'll give it a shot. Let's see. First thing is that I actually decided to go metal detecting this morning. If you've been keeping score, you notice that I cut the grass out there by those springs, and that's where I have found two wedding rings and also found several pieces of Civil War artifacts. So I figured now that I got the grass cut really short, it ought to just be full of gold jewelry and Civil War artifacts or trash, one of the two. You'll have to watch this to figure out which one won.
My friends, I've been metal detecting the spring area and didn't get a single decent signal. All of them were iffy iron type signals. Let me just give you an example. Every single beep, I guarantee you, you may think I'm making it up, but the truth is every single beep you hear is an object. That's one of the better signals I've heard all day, and it's not very good. See, you just can't dig them all. People say, dig them all, dig them all. Oh, sure. Now, when you get out into certain places, like on that hillside right there, it slowed down a lot. You might go 3 or 4 feet without hitting a signal. But in certain places, it's just like this. It's just nuts. Who would ever think there'd be that much metal in the ground? If we could get all the metal in the ground out of here, I could take it to the recycler. I'd probably be rich. It's just nuts. Most of these are nails and pieces of wire. See, so it just about drives you crazy after you've been doing it for an hour and you just keep hearing these beeps. Now, you learn in your brain how to single them out, and like there's certain pitches. The higher pitch is something to look at. Those lower grunts are just junk for the most part. It's just, it's a tough thing to do. But, I'm trying to get more Civil War history. It's just, to me, it's worth doing. It's just something I enjoy. And occasionally you find a neat relic, from the pioneers on top of that. But right now, the Civil War stuff is few and far between, man. I couldn't even tell you the last time I found a piece. I found a lot at the beginning, but I guess I just got lucky and found it all.
Yeah, that's it. There's just nothing out there except trash. Plenty of trash. And in case you're not understanding about those beeps, even those low grunts, those all of those are metal. Every bit of it. Those high-pitched tones, the lower grunts. The lower grunts are almost for sure just some small piece of rusty steel. The middle tones are probably also just pieces of rusty steel, but they're in a little different shape. When the shape drives a lot of how the signal comes across. And but that detector is pretty advanced. It tells you 2 or 3 different ways whether or not it's probably iron or whether it's a possible good signal. The number at the top is an indication, number one, but then if there's a red underline under that number, you can almost guarantee it's iron. Plus, there, on the little graph, there's a signal there. And if the little indicator is in the iron area, there's two iron areas, one on the top, one on the bottom. If it's in there, it's probably iron also. So like if you got all those things lined up, like the low tone, the underline, and it falls in one of those iron areas, you can pretty much bet it's iron. Now, if it falls in that middle area, even if the tone is off, there's a chance it could be something worth digging. So you just have to kind of watch and listen, and it's a little bit complicated. But it just takes you a while to get used to it. I'm fairly used to it. And by the way, in case Peter's watching, Peter from Germany, I wore my Moine hat, Peter, and I was expecting that to bring me good luck. Unfortunately, it did not. I actually cut that off a little short by accident. My finger hit the mouse button. I did show a pile of trash I dug at the very end. It's just all trash, just wire and nails. It was a pile about, I don't know, it was big around as a dinner plate, I guess, and there was probably 25 items there. And so I just dug like 25 holes of just trash this morning. Anyway, let's see. Here is the other video I have for you, courtesy of the purple-haired guy. Well, my friends, at first glance, the purple-haired guy wasn't lying. There is a panel there that I've never even thought about looking into. I never even noticed it before. But that's the panel right there. And we're going to take that off and see what little bit of access that might give us. I think it would be better if I had these arms raised up. I don't know if I'll have enough room in here to raise them up all the way, though. But I'll have to put the cab back down and raise the arms up and see if that gives me access to this panel better. Well, my friends, I would be using this safety thing and put it in here, except I can't raise the arms up high enough to do that. I'm actually touching the ceiling already, which I didn't even realize that either while I was in the cab, but I am touching the ceiling already. I didn't even know that. But the bottom line is I can't use this to hold this up because I can't go higher. And it also leaves this in my way a little bit. So I'd almost have to take it outside to do this. But you know, it looks like you can get down in there a little bit, which I didn't even know this existed. So, can you see what I need to fix down in there? I think you can see it's been leaking in there, so I think the fuel leaks on this side. It might be coming out of the tank itself. I hope the tank ain't busted. That'd be my luck. So, I'll have to see if I can figure out what's going on. Yep, that's what I think it is. It's coming out of that fuel sending unit, and that's right on top of the tank. And as you can see, there's all kinds of room to get to that. Actually, you can't even see it with your from looking down through that hole. That borescope camera went around and came back under, like, to show you what it was. And what I don't actually think it's a very significant problem now, and the reason is because I had actually just put fuel in there and I had filled it up into the neck of the the filler neck, and so that was above the fuel sending unit. So once that fuel drained down into the tank, well, now it's below the fuel sending, and it's not actually leaking. Now, it would splash a leak, I'm sure, while you're moving the machine around. It would splash leak out of that whole, that sending unit. So I have at least put one of those sending units in my shopping cart. I'm not sure yet whether or not I can get in there and tighten that up or not. I don't know if there's a way to tighten it up, or I looked for people that had this same experience, and there's not a lot of information out there about if you can fix a leak on it. There was lots of people that just replaced it, but I don't know. Anyway, the vote's still out on it, but I'm not as worried about it as I was. I thought it was maybe a broken line or broken tank, and that it was just going to continue to leak. But now that it's leaked down below that level, I don't think it's a problem. So I don't know. It's not, at least it's not urgent like I thought it was. So let's go to the comments and see what's going on. David Tharp is first one in. It says, howdy y'all, rise and shine, or rise and hobble with dignity. Either way. Mine's usually the second. Let's see. David says, need a hall pass for tomorrow, headed up to Lewisburg near Buffalo, Missouri, to spend some time with the oldest daughter. Well, good. Hope everything goes good on that for you. I assume you're driving, not flying. But then again, you might be flying. I don't know. Let's see. Ronald Todd. Good afternoon, Jerry, and everyone from the West Bank in New Jersey. Bill Rhodes. Good afternoon. And let's see. Bill says he hopes everybody's in good shape. David Tharp says the good news is I've made it to the golden years. The bad news is there ain't no gold. That's kind of the way it was out in that field. I didn't find any gold. It's amazing. Like out in that field, it's not quite as bad as it was right there where I was showing you, but it's pretty bad. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there. But then every once in a while you get into a dead area, like there's just nothing, maybe in a 10-foot square area, which isn't very big, but you'll find a small area where there's just nothing. And then you get back into where there's so much stuff, It's crazy. I just can't imagine how there's there's that much stuff in the ground, but there is. Bill Webb, good afternoon. And I say good afternoon to you. David Thur says, Mexican woman had identical twins, Juan and Amal. Then, when asked why she only carried a picture of Juan, she said, when you've... I already know where this is going. When you've seen one, you've seen Amal. When you've seen one, you've seen them all. Okay, got it. Let's see. Gino Hitch. Hi, Jerry and friends. Pleasant day here in Monroe, Ohio. Still doing the bathroom remodel. Hope that works out on the Bobcat. Looking forward to the music tonight. How about Streets of Laredo? No, I can't do that. That's a crazy hard tune. Streets of Laredo. I'll look at it just in case, but I don't think there's a chance. I'd love it if I could do that one. That one's, I think, over my pay grade. Bill Webb, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Let's see. Wavy Gravy. I'm worried about my neighbor. He said to me, you know that show, The Flintstones with Fred and Wilma? I've seen it, I said, and he said, do you know if they're married in real life too? Ooh. Now, would you just know? That would be tough. Now you got to think about that all afternoon. Let's see. I'm going to try to write down who's making these requests. So Gino Hitch asked for that. I don't think there's a chance I can do that one, Gino, but I wish I could. I like the song. It's a great song. I had Precious Lord here by Tennessee Ernie Ford. I haven't looked these up yet, by the way. So I don't remember who asked for that one, though. Should know, but I can't think of who it was. So if you want to put that in the comments, I'll write your name down there. I'll try to remember to mention the name on these requests tonight if I've got it together well enough to do that, which is always debatable. After we went live, Ronald Todd says, I'd be a morning person if morning started at around 1. Well, I'm definitely a morning person. I am definitely not an evening person. Although when I was younger, I was pretty much an all-day person, But nowadays, I kind of hit the wall in the mid-afternoon. Bo Horn says, hi, Jerry and gang, heading out for the Missouri adventure next Tuesday. Well, Bo, just keep in mind that our exit on the highway there is going to be closed starting on the 25th. So if more than likely you're going to be coming from the St. Louis side, I would think, from the east on 44. So if you get to our exit, which is the Jerome exit, you're going to have to go on past it about another 4 miles or so. I'm just guessing on that. I don't know how far it is. About 4 miles, I'm thinking it is. And you have to get off at the Highway J exit. You go over the overpass, come back down the other side of the highway back to our exit, and then you can get off at the Jerome exit. But you cannot cross over the overpass at Jerome. So both exits will still be working. It's just that you cannot cross over the overpass. Just keep that in mind. Let's see. Bill Webb, looks like we may be making a trip to Seven Springs Valley in a week or so, depending on availability on the big house. Might be bringing Allie Cooper to pick up a horse, trailer, and guitar. Cool. That'd be cool. Yep, that would be great, Bill. And just to let you know, Bill, I think your offer was more than adequate, and more than likely will drop the price a little bit off of that. I think you bid higher than I was expecting, so I think we'll give you a little break on that price. So I appreciate that, though. David Tharp, while riding a horse, the poor thing busted a leg, and I shot it. For some reason, it really bothered all the other people on the carousel. Scott Roberts, so it's okay to call your pets fur babies, but when I call my kid a skin puppy, I'm disgusting and unfit to be a parent. Let's see. Wavy Gravy, the last time a few of us played music in my kitchen, the cockroaches all got together and spelled out the words, please kill us. Everybody is a music critic. Yep, that could happen here. Bill Mumbo, how about Please Help Me, I'm Falling? That's a good tune. I probably could do that. I've never done it. Please. Okay, I wrote it down. David Sutter, make sure you throw in Merle song tonight. And then he wrote Terry. Okay. Merle Haggard. Try to think of another one I haven't done in a while. And that was David Sutter. And let's see, Bill Rhodes, Jerry, that was me that requested the Tennessee Ernie photo. I was thinking it was, but I wasn't positive, so I didn't want to say. Thank you. Scott Roberts, putting a hot frying pan into a sink running with cold water makes me feel like a blacksmith. Guy Bros. Hey, Jerry, did you get a chance to listen to the parody song from Eddie Lawrence, The Old Professor? Just reminds me of your Rosa Luck, not a request. No, I didn't. I wrote that down up there, and I never did get to it. But I'll try to do that today. I kind of think I've hit the wall, and I don't feel like doing a whole lot today. So I'll probably stay in and work on these songs and stuff. And while I do that, I'll have time to listen to that, I think. Ronald Todd, it appears to me that when it comes to the metal detecting, that Dozer Works sure made things difficult. They scattered metal everywhere. Yeah, I think that's a good part of it. I do think they scattered a lot of it. On the other side of it, more than likely those little old farms probably had all kinds of little outbuildings and things, and there were nails. When those got burnt down or knocked down or whatever, the nails are everywhere, and then the bulldozer probably helped that out too. So there, and then there was probably fences everywhere, and that all got just scrambled into the ground. So it's just, it's a mess. It really is. Bill Mumbo, hi folks. Heard that the great Tom Lehrer passed away. 97, rest in peace. Tom Lehrer. I don't know if I know who that is. Was he a news person? Tom Lehrer? I don't know who that is offhand. Scott Roberts, apparently RSVPing to a wedding invitation with maybe next time is rude. I know that now. There you go. Well, that's probably not the best comeback. Oh, Bo says he's coming from the Springfield area. Well, if you're coming from the Springfield area, well, you can just bop right into exit 172. You'll be fine then, because you'll be coming from that direction. And basically, when you come up the ramp, you'll just turn right and go about 50 feet, and then you turn left on the outer road and follow it to the dead end. Let's see. Wavy Gravy. My brother-in-law told me he has big plans to sue his employer just as soon as he lands a real job. That's thinking ahead there. Now that's somebody's using their head there. They're thinking outside the box. Scott Roberts, if you're asking me for advice, I'm going to assume you're out of all other rational options. Now get those thumbs up, folks. Yeah, if you would do that, that would help. Don Nice, Jerry, how about your new song? Okay. Thank you, Don. And let's see. Bill Rhodes, Jerry, are you not seeing my chat, or are you passing over me on purpose? Well, Bill, I would think by now you would know I don't pass anybody on purpose. So obviously I'm not seeing them. Are you hitting send? Because they're not showing up. The only one I see is way up at the top, and it says Bill Rhodes. I hope everyone is in good shape. And I read that one. So there you go. G&P Old Marine Shop. Hi, Jerry. Do you know any Vern Gosdin songs? No, I don't. I mean, I know roughly who he is. I've always heard a lot of people that are big fans of Vern Gosdin, but I guess he was just somebody that was never really on my radar, I might be doing one of his songs because I do a couple hundred songs, but if I am, I don't know it. So G&P Old Marine Shop. I'll write it down just in case I can come up with something. All right, let's see. Scott Roberts, no one is shocked when they find out I don't know how to use a defibrillator. I get that one. I get it. Scott Roberts, I tried to come up with carpentry pun that would work. I thought I nailed it, but nobody saw it. That's pretty good. I had to give you credit on that one there. That's pretty good. Ronald Todd, Jerry, did Bob have anything to do with the bulldozer job? No, I think that was before his time. No. If I'm trying to think of a smart comeback with that one, but I can't think of anything. But he'd have found some way to screw it up, I guarantee you. Scott Roberts, Jerry, thinking of you, green is my favorite color. I love it more than blue and yellow combined. Oh my gosh. Now we got three of them. We've got three of them now. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Hugh O'Connor, it's the same person Tom Lehrer wrote Poisoning Pigeon in the Park. Okay. That helps. I have no idea what we're talking about there. Bill Mumbo, Tom Lehrer was a professor but also wrote songs poisoning the pigeons in the park. I've never heard of that. The periodic table, comedy songs, strange songs, and masochism, tango songs to teach math to children. Okay, never heard of him. Don Nice, Jerry, you can put on your red shirt tonight. Okay, I'll see if I have one. Ronald Todd, Bill mentioned something about Tennessee Ernie Ford song. Yeah. Okay, I've got that down. Scott Roberts, I have good problem-solving skills, but my problem-creating skills are where I really shine. Yeah, I know somebody else by the name of Sue that's really good with that too. GNP Old Marine Shop, missing my comments too, Jerry. Now and then, no biggie, but send 'em. Joe is good Vern Gosdin song. Well, I got your... I got the Vern Gosdin song written down by you already as a request. I don't know if you didn't hear me say that, or I'm confused now. Scott Roberts, if vegetables are so good, explain to me why vegans are always trying to make them taste like meat. There you go. I want to know that myself. Like I said, even if I didn't have the taste abnormality that I have, I'm still not sure I would want to be a vegetable, because they say you are what you eat. Guys, I'm going to let that be it. I'm going to get busy trying to learn some of these songs, and I'll do something this evening. We'll be back here at 7 o'clock this evening with a play along, and like I said, I'll try to do this request if I can. Thank you for being here. We'll see you this evening.